Well, that's different. We've never done that before. Fooled you all, though, because you all thought Connor would be sat here because we started late. But no, it's not. It's us. Absolutely. What is happening here? I can hear myself back, so that's just a little bit crazy right now. But there we go. I think I'm back to normal now. That's nice. Welcome back. There I am again. Can you hear me repeating myself?
No, I can just hear one of you, Barry.
I was going to keep going then and accept the fact that I can hear myself. It's going to be rather weird. There we go. But I know why it is. It's because I've got the YouTube on. That's why it is. There we go.
Oh, come on. Come
That's
on.
why.
That is rookie error, that.
What a start that is. Because I had to do the poll. I've never done the poll before. So I went onto YouTube to do that. And there we go. Well, that's completely ruined the introduction. But welcome. This is why Connor's in charge. Because he knows all this sort of stuff. But good to be here. No truth in the rumour that Connor's deal with Brill Cream is up. That is not the drama. He will be back, but he's not feeling too great this evening. So I've stepped in and got myself a crack panel ready to talk all things Champions League. You could argue they are the Champions League of pundits to have with us. We've got Vic and we've got Jess. Vic, how are you doing today?
All good, thank you. Just finished for Christmas today, so really ready for a break, as you will be as well, Barry.
Oh, yes. Bliss. Some people say Christmas doesn't start until they hear the Coca-Cola advert. I say it doesn't start until the last child's out the room and you can actually have a rest. So there we go. Jess, lovely to have you back with us as well. How are you doing this evening?
I am good. Unfortunately, I am still expected to work on Monday and Tuesday. However, I've been very clear that that's not really going to happen. I had a big presentation to do last night and I've been super busy today with a few more meetings. So I basically said to my boss, because he asked me when I was finishing and I said that I'm working until Tuesday, but I was like, I'm not really going to do anything. And he was like, no, that's fine. So a few emails left to reply to on Monday morning. And then I'm just going to cruise through to Christmas.
Absolutely. So you should. It's Christmas after all. Speaking of cruising through, that's a beautiful segue there, Jess. Well done. Because Manchester United are cruising through to the next round of the Champions League. It's been a heck of a campaign for our maiden effort in the competition. And obviously, 2 nights ago, we had a brilliant win, 1-0 over Juventus, which I'm not sure many of us really expected, especially with the way some of our results have been going lately. 3 changes from the amazing comeback against Spurs. We had Gabby George come in for Jade Riviere. Dominique Janssen got shoved out to right back, further cementing the fact that Maëlys Hissier is definitely a centre-back and shall not be used in that position. Gabby George popping in as the other centre-back. We had Lisa Nolson come in for Orange and Passion Fruit, which was fantastic. And, of course, we had Jess Park coming in for Ella Toon, and she played in the central role. So, lots to be said about that. Vic, was there much gnashing and wailing of teeth that Ella Toon wasn't starting, or were you quite happy with that lineup?
I was happy with the lineup, but unpopular opinion, I prefer Jess on the right. Only because for us, I think it works better, and the fact we haven't got a right winger, and I don't like Mel there. So for me, I prefer her on the right. But she was amazing. I really rate the player, so I was happy to see her in that position as well, I guess. And yeah, I thought it was a good lineup. I thought we did well. No shocks really. I did think Mayer would be right back, but Dom did an all right job. So
I think Dom did do a very good job, and Jess for you as well. You saw that starting lineup. You saw Jess going into the middle, a little bit of jiggery pokery in the defence. Lisa Nolson starting, which sometimes splits opinion, but I thought overall quite a good lineup. Was you quite happy with it?
Yeah, I can't complain. I think the world will have ended and we'll all be dust before Skinner even considers putting Latiz out on the right. I remember, I think it was last season or maybe even the season before, we were sort of shoehorning like 3 different players into their wrong position rather than just moving her to the right. So that part was kind of not really a surprise. Typically, I think Nelson's a great player, but I think she's like struggled to really find her footing in the team, to be honest. But I didn't really have any objection to seeing her in the starting lineup, I think, especially with the amount of games that we're playing. And I thought she did a really great job. Seeing Jess in the middle, I like Vic, I do like her out wide. However, I think being in that central position, she can basically just dictate the whole game. Her forward play, her passing is absolutely phenomenal, which I'm sure we'll sort of come on to a little bit later. But yeah, happy with that lineup. We've had a lot of games, so it's good to kind of bring in some fresh legs such as Nelson and get them a run out. And yeah, I thought everyone played pretty well as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Chelma saying that she thinks Park will take Toon's spot for both club and country, and maybe eventually she will. But do not write off Ella Toon. It was her goal against Spurs that began the comeback and started us off, and that was interesting. Dom was excellent. She really was. So this might be the first time I'm not too worried about Jay Bouvier being questionable going into a game. So that would be good. And of course, Lisa doing incredibly well as well, which I thought was good. Vic, Juve made 10 changes from their game at the weekend. They have won their last 7 games. Do you think that was part of the reason why we went on to win the game, the fact that they made so many changes? And can we take as much from it as we would like to with the fact they made so many changes?
No, I think we should take it all as a positive, to be honest. I mean, I think I was watching the pre-match and someone said something about Juventus have tried to beat an English team 6 times and never beaten them. And I thought, tonight is the night. I quit. And it was a stat, something like that. And I thought, well, fingers crossed. Yeah, they've changed a lot of players. And yeah, they probably didn't play their strongest team. But really, neither did we, because we rested some of our best players too. Lisa wouldn't be my 3rd choice on the team sheet. So, we didn't play our best players because we need to rest some for the weekend, and we've got such short spaces in between our games at the moment, too many games. So I don't think we can take it as a negative way. I think we won off our own merit, and I think we outplayed them, and that's basically what it came down to at the end of the day. And Jess's goal, that's, what it came down to.
Jess, would you go along with that? I mean, if we were to make 10 changes before a game, for example, going into the Sandwich Cup, and then we went out, people would be saying, well, I mean, to be fair, if we made 10 changes, something's happened to our subs bench because there's not that many players to switch around. But if we did do that, people would rightly say we didn't start your proper side. Do you think Juve were just not worried about it? They knew they were through. I mean, why do you think they made such big rotations so late in the year?
I mean, potentially. Like us, they probably had quite a run of games. There wasn't really any, I think this is Connor's favourite word, there wasn't really any jeopardy, so to speak, to the game. I know we were kind of competing with them for that spot, but it's sort of meaningless. Everyone was going through. So maybe they just decided to rest their players. I think in terms of what you said before about whether United are able to kind of like take away the full victory almost, or say that like, we did it by ourselves. At the end of the day, United can only play who's put out in front of them. United can't turn around and say like, oh no, put your best players out. We need to prove ourselves. If Juventus had turned up and chosen to play their under-17s, then that is who United would have played. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, I guess, how many changes they've made. It might have helped us. But on the other hand, on another day, maybe that all those changes worked in their advantage, and on another day, maybe they beat us. You really can only play on the day who's in front of you. And I think in terms of changes, we don't really have that luxury to make that many changes as well. It's not something that United do in general. But even if we did have all those players, which we don't, it's not something we would do. But I think it was certainly an interesting choice from them. And you can't really knock that decision. I think the game was relatively evenly matched, in all honesty. I think we probably should have had a few more kind of clear-cut chances, or some kind of better chances, let's say. But at the end of the day, we deserved to win. But I think it was relatively even. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Definitely, we were the better team for 90 minutes. But even if you look at the stats, the stats are quite scarily even and balanced, which obviously only tells a part of the story. But I don't think the changes made a massive difference. It's not like we turned up and walked all over them for 90 minutes.
No, again, I would tend to agree with all that you guys have said there. I think that's pretty reasonable, but just thought I'd throw the question in as they made such a big deal about it. We did play well. We started incredibly well, but one of the reasons why Fallon made it onto the Player of the Match award, Sandberg unlucky to miss out on the Player of the Match vote. Thought she had a great game. This was a tricky one. I did send this and run it by the boss. So it has been vetted as well. So we can't be saying I've gone rogue or any of that jazz. There are a few, I think, that played quite well this evening. On Wednesday evening. But I think it's tough. I think it's tough to say who is going to be there. But we have got them. Jess Park is one of them. Frido is the other. Fallon Tullis-Joyce and Dominique Janssen. And the reason that Fallon really stood out is I think she made some really good saves throughout the game, and none in particular more important than the very first one that we saw, which was just a superb. It was one-on-one for all intents and purposes. It looked like Juve were going to score, and just turns it around the post. For all the conversation that there's been about the defence and about Fallon Tullis-Joyce and her ability to save the football, they came out fighting in this game, didn't they, Vic?
Yeah, I think it was really nice to see Fallon basically back in form as well, because I think the last few games she has been a bit touch and go since she's been injured. Whether she can't see with that mask on, I don't know. But the last few games, she hasn't been as what I would say. She's been someone fantastic, but not been the Fallon that we know. But it was really nice to see on Wednesday that she seemed that she was, apart from one little moment where she came out a bit too much for my liking, she seemed like she was back, and yeah, I think she did a really good job. And the defence did seem, even though they were missing Jade, they did seem pretty solid, worked well as a team, and I think you can see the confidence in them when they have got Fallon there. So that was really nice to see.
Indeed, I'd say this sounds lovely. Beautiful Jamaica, 28 degrees. I'm sitting here with a cold, because this is what happens. You finish school and all of a sudden your immune system goes, well, relax. So I can feel it coming along. So apologies if my head keeps nipping off. That's I'm trying to deal with it. But there we go. Jess, for you on that one, Fallon in this game, certainly back to her best, but equally defence as well. Maya Letitia doing superb. Dominique on the right, as we said, having a superb game, considering that's not her primary position. Generally, the defence, they're doing incredibly well, and that stayed all the way through the game, which we don't always see.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think we've been a little bit ropey the last few weeks, but it was good to see them back kind of up to their best. I thought even when they got kind of like wrong-sided by the defender, or even when they were maybe caught out of position ever so slightly, which obviously is bound to happen during a game, I thought they recovered really well, which is kind of the most important part. It was great to see Fallon back pulling off some really good saves. Maybe it is that she can't see properly with that mask on. I mean, it's got to be a little bit weird. Like, I found it weird just getting glasses for the first time. So I feel like it just must be strange having something on your face at all times like that. So great to see her back to her best. Whatever has changed, then fantastic. And yeah, likewise for the defence, I think they looked really like sort of strong. Not to sound like, who was it that said strong and stable are loads to do with the government, but not to sound like them. But we did look very strong and stable. And like I said, I think the positioning overall was really good. Offside line was kept really well. And like I said, even when one or two kind of little mistakes were made, I thought we recovered really, really well.
Absolutely. I think it was just a superb defensive performance, things such as this. She came for crosses, which was great as well. I've got no ginger tea and I've got no lemon. So I'm taking some paracetamol and we'll see what happens. I'll be fine. I'll survive. It's just cold, I hope. But we shall see. So there we go. A few people bemoaning still. I say a few, one bemoaning as usual. But other than that, everybody generally looking quite content and quite happy, all told. And so they should be, because it was a relatively early goal, Vic. And what a goal it was as well. Jess started the whole move in the final third, passes the ball to Mel. She gets it to Frida, who looks like she's going to lose it, just gets it under control, pushes it out to Jess, and she takes a little touch and then goes top corner. Absolutely beautiful goal. And I mean, we could have potentially gone on to get more. You get the likes of Melvie Mallard. Somebody said earlier on that she was a little bit frustrating, but she had a fantastic shot that needed turning wide as well. I think generally our performance up front and going forward was quite good. The shots were generally on target and they needed to be dealt with. So, yeah, you thought about the goal from Jess Park.
Yeah, it was brilliant taking goal. I mean, the keeper had no chance, really, did she? There was power, which I do think we missed from Toon at the moment in that role. When she gets shots, they're on target, but straight to the keeper. And there's no power through it. Well, Jess is very powerful. For such a little player as well, the power that comes out of that girl is unbelievable. I will just mention as well, I agree with the Melvin comment. She is frustrating to watch sometimes, but I do have faith in her. I do think, the goal at Old Trafford against PSG was taken really well. The shot taken in this game, really, it was a save. She was on target. But she is frustrating because she does all of the hard work and doesn't know what to do, with the final pass or, the final shot. She really needs to take those chances or get them passes clearer. So yeah, she is a little bit frustrating, but I think if we stick with her, I think she'll get there. Also, she did the pre-match, post-match interview, and her English has come on so much. I cannot believe it. My old match turned around and was like, wow, her English is so much better than last year. So I do think we'll get there with her. But yeah, that's the goal. Brilliant goal. You can't ask for anything better, really, can you?
No, absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. Jess Park is so small. And yeah, you can be all different shapes and sizes to play football. Absolutely. Regardless of who you are. So yeah, very, very good. Jess, for you, I mean, your namesake there, just doing absolutely amazing.
Doing bits.
For me, I've wanted to see her play in the 10, and I just think it was an outstanding performance. And if she can do that continentally, we talk about having that strength in depth, having someone like Ella Toon and someone like Jess Park who can play in that position and know they're going to help to dictate games and create chances and have the ability to just pull something out of absolutely nowhere. It's outstanding, isn't it? It was such a good finish.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of pulled that just out of the bag from more or less nothing. It was one of those kind of pieces of play where it wasn't even really a piece of play. There was just a lot of scuffling going round. No one could quite kind of get on the ball, but kind of it managed to just about get to Jess's feet. And I don't know how she actually managed to do that. The way she was kind of able to get it up and over the keeper in that position, given everything that was going on around her, and there wasn't really any room. She was stood kind of directly on the ball because everyone was in the box kind of so clustered, basically. So I thought that the finish was phenomenal, to be honest. I think I said before, no one's saving that, really. It was absolutely point perfect. But the technique and the style, the way she kind of pulled that off was just incredible, because I just don't know how she did it, to be honest, because there was no other way she was going to be able to take that shot, really, and score, I don't think. That was her only option. Obviously spotting the keeper that was maybe kind of off the line a little bit, but being able to get it kind of over and then back kind of under the crossbar to hit this sort of top bin area was absolutely fantastic. Really, really good finish. And I am just so happy to see her on the team. I was a little bit apprehensive with the swap just because I'd not really monitored that much. Other than when she played for England or the odd time I'd watch City play, I hadn't really seen that much of her. But since she's been in the United shirt, she's been absolutely fantastic, and has got to be kind of one of the first names on the team sheet kind of every week, other than if you're going to rest her. I think she's just probably our best player potentially so far this season. Just going back to Mallard, like you said, Vic, very, very frustrating at times. I think she's such a good player. I really, really, really like her. I think she's absolutely fantastic, but she can be so frustrating just at that final bit of play, like the final touch, the final ball. I just want to scream at her. That being said, she got a really good shot off, and she did pull a good save out of the keeper. So, that was a shot on target that the keeper had to work for there. So maybe she's improving a little bit, because I know she's got it in her. We've seen it. That's the thing. It's not like I don't rate her as a player. I think she's fantastic. I think that's why it's so frustrating, because I've seen her go one-on-one with the keeper and be able to finish. I've seen her go one-on-one with the keeper and square the ball off and someone else finish. Whereas now I just feel like, and it's not just her, I feel like it's probably United as a whole quite often, in that final third, the final ball, it's like, oh my God, panic stations. Do I pass? Do I shoot? And it's just a little bit all over the place. But yeah, I thought she played well overall, Melvine, and she did get a good shot off, and it was just unfortunate that the keeper was kind of equal to it on the day.
No, absolutely. I think it was superb, and you're quite right about Mel. It's part of the reason why I get so frustrated as well when we're on here and we're talking, because you know that she's got the quality, but it's just the consistency isn't there, and that is the bit that is quite frustrating. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. I think she was excellent, and yes, it could be the decision making. It could just be I don't know. Is it that she gets a little bit too, like, the pressure gets to her a little bit, so she snatches it a bit quickly because she's hoping that she's going to get the goal that way, and as a result she's not therefore able to control the ball always as well as she would like, or it's because she sits and thinks about it too much rather than acts instinctively. I mean, I don't know Melvine Mallard well enough to know quite what it is that makes her tick, but yes, it is and can be incredibly frustrating. Michael saying, I think Jess has blossomed since she joined United because she has the freedom to roam. Mallard may suffer from near post syndrome, which seems to be where most of her shots go. A lot of people suffer from at the goalkeeper syndrome, but thankfully they didn't on Wednesday. There was a brilliant comment that was just made, Vic, which was, we played so well after the goal, it felt like we really took control, but it wasn't just a case of we took control for the first half. We pretty much had control for the rest of the game at that point. There wasn't really points where you were expecting us to drop. We talked about the stats. Both teams had 12 shots. Both had 4 on target. A lot of ours were off target or blocked. Out of those 8, 5 of our shots were blocked, which shows that the defence were doing quite well. So just looking at those stats, looking at the control, and looking at how the last few games have gone for us, because it hasn't been the greatest of months, really. So good to finally get that. We've got Spurs coming up, obviously, at the weekend before our break. How good of a performance do you think that was, to be able to have that level of control in a Champions League match that Juventus needed to win, because ultimately they're unseeded for the draw, which they won't really have wanted?
Yeah, definitely. I think we had control for most of the game, to be honest. The last few games we've lost the ball quite easily, not had control of the ball, and we've really struggled with that. I think, clubs, when they play us, they know that we like to have the ball a lot. We do control the ball a lot, but we've been losing it. We just need to get more consistent in that, and I think that will take us through further and further. I don't think Juventus went there thinking they were going to lose. And to be honest, out of the game, they probably had the upper hand on it. But we went, and I thought we played really well overall. I thought it was a really good team performance. We kept the ball well, unlike on Sunday. And yeah, hopefully we can roll this over to this Sunday. I think it'll be a good confidence for the team after a bad few months, really.
No, I think you're spot on there. And Jess, for you, again, that control, that level of ability to look after the game, to really have it just fully under our control. The Juventus didn't really worry us after that. And it wasn't for the want of trying. For us to be able to do that, we've got obviously the game against Atletico Madrid, which we'll discuss in a little bit. But throughout all of our Champions League campaign, we've had some reasonably good performances, but probably not that level of control against a side that ultimately is pretty good. We're not looking at a side here that domestically aren't that great. It's not a side from San Marino. This is a side that regularly take part in the Champions League. And yes, they may well have made 10 changes, but we still dominated the proceedings.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was nice to see us back kind of cool, calm and collected. It's been a crazy kind of month or two. And I feel like that has been reflected very much in the results. Even some of the more positive results, the games themselves have been very kind of like, oh my God, like what's going to happen? But with this one, it did kind of seem like United were in control. There was no real surprises. I think United did have the upper hand for the whole game, despite the fact the stats are, like I said before, very, very similar. United did have the upper hand for the whole game, and that was a good position to be in. Would I have liked to have seen more goals? Yes, of course. I think we got unlucky in a few instances, like we've already kind of been through. A little bit of better finishing, a bit more luck with the penalty decision. And I think, on another day, maybe in the same situation, we can bag, 2 or 3. But I think it was better to kind of play this game, keep it calm, not run anyone into the ground, not do anything too crazy. We're so close to the end of the year now. The last thing we want is to kind of knacker anyone before Christmas and put us on the back foot heading into the new year. So I think just to show that level of control, I think kind of indicates the maturity of the team as well, to be able to recognise where they are in the game and in kind of just the season as a whole, and be able to just not take the foot off the gas, but be mindful and not do anything too crazy, not do anything ridiculously risky. It was a very mature performance, I thought, especially heading into the second half.
No, absolutely. And we do need to talk about second half, because Erling has brought it up here, and it was brought up as well by Sporty earlier on. How do you feel about that, Vic? Do you feel pleased that it just shows that the WSL referees are not necessarily that much worse than the continental referees, or what? Because it's the most blatant foul I think you can ever see. VAR was there. They were able to actually look at it. They didn't bother looking at it. And even if they did, they just went, oh, no, that's absolutely fine. You're allowed to, knock people over in the box now. It's a rule. It seems it's ridiculous. How was that not given?
I don't know how it wasn't given, to be honest. It was a penalty. I think both teams knew it was a penalty. Both managers probably knew it was a penalty. Everyone in the stadium knew it was a penalty. And everyone watching knew it was a penalty, apart from the referee and VAR. Yeah, I don't even think they did check it, did they? So, I mean, I don't know why it wasn't given. But this is the thing that I was just about to say, that it just proves that the refs in the WSL aren't as bad as we think. And they haven't got VAR. And I do think VAR works both ways. There's a big thing on VAR, isn't it? I think VAR works both ways, but I think, to be honest, it's not really on VAR. It's on the referee. It's right in front of the referee, and she's missed it. I mean, no one else missed it, did they? So it's on the referee, not VAR, really. But then when the referees missed it, why haven't they picked it up? I don't know. What's the point in VAR in that point? At that point, what is the point in VAR? Because they've not used it.
I mean, we've got some people saying, Michael saying, from an angle you could see the UVA player got a toe on it. I initially gave her the benefit of the doubt, and JJ saying the same. Some people think she got a touch, but in the ones that I saw, granted, all of them are looking through the players rather than at the ball, didn't look like she'd got it. And I think, I don't know, maybe Jess, you might agree. Is this one of those again where if it's given, it's just not getting turned over because there's not enough evidence? Were they in that same sort of situation? They couldn't see it, so as a result of not being able to see it, decided to just stick with the on-field opinion.
I'll be completely honest. I've not seen any other angle other than the main one that was on the TV. So if there is an angle that shows a toe, I've not seen it. So I can't say on that. However, I would have thought regardless, that's got to go to VAR. Like I watched the highlights back just now with my boyfriend, and I look to him in these situations, not because he knows anything about football, because he doesn't really, he plays rugby, but more for the sense of I'm saying, oh my God, that's a penalty. And I think, okay, we have a neutral-ish party. I force him to support United women. He's actually an Arsenal fan, but I force him to be a United fan. So I kind of look to him in that situation because I think, am I going crazy here? Because it just seems so blatant. And his response was something about cheating Italians. So he was very much kind of on side. And he then turned to me and said, do they not have VAR? And I was like, well, I thought they did, but maybe it came into it in the groups. That's how convinced I was that this was a penalty and VAR would have overturned it, that I just assumed that even though I thought that VAR was already involved, because I'm sure I've watched a game where VAR was in, I just thought, oh, I'm mistaken. It can't come in until like the knockout stages, because I just thought there is no way that does not get overturned. Again, maybe there is another angle that shows it differently, but I can't comment on that. Just the one I did see that is so clear cut. Like she basically sticks a foot out on her. I don't really know what else to say. I think even if the ref misses it, that still has to go to VAR for a discussion, surely. I think if the ref sees that back, that's given. Again, maybe there's this other angle that's different, but from what I saw, if the ref sees that is then given, surely. So the fact that VAR just seemingly ignored the whole thing is crazy, but it goes to show that WSL refs aren't that bad. And clearly, when everyone says, oh, we need VAR in the WSL, even the VAR isn't that great. So we're actually just better focusing from the ground up and focusing on the refs to begin with. And then we'll go from there, both domestically and internationally, I think.
It feels like one of those things. I mean, I've said it a lot as well. It's one of those where, at the end of the day, we're always going to be angry at refs if we just disagree with the decision, and that's it, really. I think there was quite a lot, but when I say quite a lot, I'm not talking hundreds. But there was certainly for a Wednesday evening in Italy, not too bad at all, and brilliant as well to see it being played in the proper stadium, the Allianz Arena, a very good place for that to happen. So great. It made me giggle. So I don't know if you've watched the 90 and 20 from United, but the guy that was running it, Ben Ibsen, stood there going, it will give the Progress with Unity Stadium a run for its money. And I'm like, I think it does a little bit more than give it a run for its money. It dwarfs it. But fair play for trying to big up Lee Sports Village, which shall always be known as. Stop trying to make me use that ridiculous name. That's not progress at all. There we go. We're going to leave the poll up for a bit longer, but I mean, it's a bit of a landslide at the moment as it goes. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. But I feel like we have a winner. But we'll let it go just for a little bit longer, see what's going on there. Vic, whilst we're waiting, the whole Champions League campaign as a whole so far, it's the first time that we've qualified for the Champions League proper. And now it's the first time that we've qualified for the knockout stages. Obviously a brand new format this season, but 6 games against some tricky teams, some teams that you would probably expect to win as well. to come away with 4 wins from 6, a dodgy Wolfsburg result, which we probably should have done better in had we not given away most of the goals, and a humbling to Lyon, which isn't always unexpected. It's been a really good Champions League campaign, no matter what anybody might say and how much they might want to try and demean the whole experience. For us as a club, it's absolutely outstanding, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just amazing. I mean, I've been watching Manchester United women since the start, and to see how far they've come along, it's just like, it's inspiring really, because the girls that have been there since the start as well, they've gone through all that journey. Like Leah Galton coming on the other night it was just so nice to see her come on, because I think that's the first Champions League one she's. Oh no, I think she actually did play against Lyon the other day. She came on there, but for them it must be just amazing that they've not only made history, but they're now making more history by getting to the knockouts. And it's going to be really tough, but nothing that we've not done before, because we have had some tough games. We've had PSG, Juventus away, Wolfsburg. That is the only game really that we could have got some points from that was a bit of a letdown. But the other 5, I have to say, we've showed up in every one. Even Lyon at home, they're probably the best team in it for me at the moment. And, we didn't look that silly considering it's our first time in the Champions League. We could have lost 10-0. We didn't. We had some mistakes, but we didn't embarrass ourselves. And I'm just really proud of them, to be honest, as a team. And it's inspiring to watch. And I'm really excited for the next stage, to see how far we can get. Because once we've done it now, next year, hopefully, or in years to come, we'll know what it's like, and it'll be even better and even easier for us. And really, we're still really new. I know a lot of people say this, but we are a new team. And Manchester United is a massive club, but as a women's team, we're pretty small. So for us to do that now, for the players, it's just amazing, really.
No, absolutely. Brandon saying we finished level on points with the defending champions, and we can't be proud of that. Then what can we ever be proud of? And I completely agree with that as well. The goal difference, all that separated us really, and we did end up with a negative goal difference, thanks to Wolfsburg and Lyon on that one. But Jess, again, really big. And had we got the win against Wolfsburg, which was not beyond the realms, had we performed to a level that we know that we can, we would have actually qualified outright for the quarterfinals and been one of the top 4 sides, which in itself is crazy when you consider the 12th team finished on 6 points. We had double that. It really was just a fantastic league campaign. What did you make of that, and what did you make of the format as well? Because obviously big change from how things have been in the past. I actually quite liked it. I don't like the fact we've got to play a team that we've already played. That's a little bit rubbish, but in general, the league phase as a whole, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, I was super skeptical at first. In this kind of setting, I'm not one for change. I think why change something that's not broken is probably the exact words I would have used. And maybe it's just because we've actually got through. But I have absolutely no problems with it. It's actually been really enjoyable. It mixes things up, and I feel like for a team like United, who are, how would you say, we're doing well, we're progressing, but at the end of the day, best will in the world, we're not Chelsea, Barcelona, whoever else. We are kind of a step or 2 down from there, and that's absolutely fine. At the end of the day, the team has not been around as long as those teams have, so there's absolutely no issue with that. But it makes it easier for a team such as United to find its footing, and be able to actually progress without kind of luck interfering, because essentially whoever gets drawn against Barcelona, for example, in an early round, you're just straight out, aren't you? So it does kind of give teams a little bit more of a chance. Obviously, the teams have then got to beat whoever they're faced off against. And I think the reality is, United finished in the top kind of third of the league. top 6 finish. And if you look at the teams that are above us, they are all absolutely incredible teams. And even some of the teams below us, Real Madrid, I know that they maybe never quite reach the heights that they should, but Juve, Wolfsburg, even PSG, PSG have done awful. They should have been well above where they were. There's some big names that have finished below us. And I guess people can say that, maybe we've had a few easy games and then got shown up by some of the better opponents. But again, that's not United's fault. You can only play who you play. And at the end of the day, that win against PSG was incredible. I don't care that they've finished nearly bottom. They are a very, very good team. I think it's been a really good campaign. And overall, United have played well. Like we've already said, the only real disappointing game, I would say, is the Wolfsburg one. I think we could have got more from that. But that's a lesson learned at the end of the day. In kind of the 6 games or whatever we did play, we were bound to probably have one that we maybe didn't quite perform as well as we should have. That's just kind of the nature of the beast, especially for a team like United that isn't as used to being part of Europe and also playing these, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of little factors that United just aren't used to being in a campaign like this. But the fact that we have now progressed not only into the proper stages, but now into the actual, the fun part of the Champions League, let's say, I think this is a huge improvement. And I think an absolutely incredible thing for United to do. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how we progress through the rest of the games.
Have we progressed with unity?
I would say that we have. I would say that we have definitely progressed with unity.
Just checking. Good stuff. A few things that have been put out there. I'll throw this one out to you. Sydney, who I believe was a Liverpool fan, unluckily for them, at some point, as I mentioned, not doing as well as Liverpool, or doing better than, sorry. Only complaint about all these Champions Leagues, the music. Give us the traditional music for the men's game, but apart from that, it's amazing. What do you two think of that? I think actually having a different one is better because it's got its own identity. What do you both reckon?
I quite like it. I don't mind it. I'm not against it. I don't really listen. I do listen to the music, but it's not really what I'm concentrating on at the time when I'm watching my team, to be honest.
Are we talking about the whole music beforehand? So the champions, is it that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't really matter either way, but I do kind of miss that. But I'm not opposed to the women having their own, having something to make it their own. The whole song for the Champions League is so synonymous with that it's not the worst thing in the world to have something a little bit different. But it's just one of those goosebumpy type of things when you're at Old Trafford and you hear that being played. Not that you get that very often these days with United men. So quite honestly, we should just take whatever we can get because it's the only European football we're going to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Indeed. Another one that was mentioned. Love this idea. The Leah Sports Village. Perhaps we should have called it that. If that's actually where it was, and they didn't say the Lee Sports Village, that's even better. I love the idea.
They actually did say Lee Sports Village on the email.
Not Leah.
No, it definitely said Lee Sports Village, but not Progress of Unity.
I would have loved it to be named after.
Because that's what it should say, really, shouldn't it?
Absolutely. This Progress for Unity thing is ridiculous. They'll never get me on board. Never, ever. We've got to talk about this because it's all they're chatting about in the chat. We are a very simple place, by which what I mean is that Centre Devils, I'm sure, are a wonderful place. But the last time I checked, they're not Tom Gary or Emma Sanders, or more importantly, Manchester United women, who will release when people have been signed. So it's brilliant. I know that we're all getting really excited. Yes, there's talk about Hannah Lundqvist, and yes, there's talk about Leah Schiller. Even if Leah Schiller did come, I don't think she can play Champions League football because she's played a couple of times, I think, for Bayern. So if that's happened, I'm sure that she would only be able to play in the other games. So I'm not convinced she would be able to do that, unless there's some rule that I don't know about. But for both of them, we know that Lundqvist, of course, has left San Diego Wave, so lots going on there. But yes, from our point of view, we don't know for certain. Connor has already put his own stuff out with regards to Lundqvist and the interest that Manchester United are showing. But when we know, and then we'll have a little chat and we'll talk about it on here. But until then, yes, Centre Devils have put something out there. But there we go. We don't know. 4 Swedes. Yes, it's starting to sound like a proper Christmas dinner, isn't it? Which is lovely. So there we go. Let's talk a little bit about the next rounds. Atletico Madrid, not potentially. We have got Atletico Madrid home and away. That's ridiculous, doesn't it? I'm sure. I'm going to go and try and double check that, because that seems a bit bizarre.
I actually don't know. I'm trying to think if it's happened before.
I am sure in the Chaps game, I'm fairly certain that if you played in the Champions League, you're not allowed to then go and play again for another club. But I'm going to go and have a little look at that.
I don't know.
Let's talk about Atleti.
I don't know, but I wouldn't think that she could play against Bayern.
Interesting.
Anyway.
I'm going to go and have a look. I'm going to go and find out. And whilst I'm finding that out, like I say, you two have a little conversation about Atletico Madrid. Tell us, we've beaten them once. Can we do it over 2 legs?
Yeah, did we beat them 1-0 with 10 men? Well, 10 women. You know what I mean?
I think they also went down to 10 men as well. Was that towards the end?
Wasn't it? It was really late.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to the game. It feels like so long ago now. It weren't even that long ago.
I know. It's that time of year where my brain has stopped working anyway.
Yeah.
So trying to remember what happened a few weeks ago, it's gone.
It's not happening, is it? No, I think obviously that was away as well, wasn't it? So that'll be nice to go back there, hopefully stay with 11 players, get a few more goals, and then obviously bring Vilda back to Lee Sports Village, which will be so nice. Hopefully Millie can play or be there as well, because that'd be really cute. But yeah, I think it's a good draw, to be honest, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, I'm very much the same. I think we've beat them once, we can beat them again. Don't get me wrong, I think they'll come out with a point to prove, 100%, because I think the game that we had against them was very, very competitive, as could probably be indicated by the 2 red cards and the kind of narrow scoreline. So I do believe that it's all to play for. However, it is absolutely a winnable game for us. And I'm excited about the fact that I might be able to get to Madrid for my first away European game. So really, fingers crossed for that. And it's a nice city. I've never been to Madrid, somewhere I want to go. So 2 birds, 1 stone kind of thing. So thanks to UEFA for kind of hooking me up with that, if I can do it.
When is it actually played away?
Is it the 11th or the 12th of Feb? Have I made that up? Or is it the 17th or 18th?
It'll be in the week and not in school holidays, won't it, Barry?
It is the 12th. I was just trying to, what do you call it then? Unmute, but yes, it is the 12th, I believe, that we are playing the first one.
I'm going to check my calendar right now.
The 19th.
It's so annoying that they play them in the week and then not in school holidays, so us teachers cannot go.
Oh, do you know what? It's literally been put in my calendar automatically. I can do that. Yeah, I can get to that game, I think, assuming I can book it off work. So this could be my first trip. Not obviously my first trip to Europe. I have been there before, but my first away to Europe with football trip. So this could be very, very exciting.
Lots of points being made. Apparently, it was scrapped in 2018. You are actually correct. Certainly, if last year's Champions League is anything to go by, no players are cup tied, even if they played for another club during the group stage.
Oh yeah, true. Because I think he played. Who came from Arsenal? Was someone come from Arsenal last year and played against our old team?
Chloe Kelly.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Is what they're talking about there. So, yeah that's quite impressive. I'll be honest, I think it's a rubbish rule. But if it helps us, I love it. So we'll stick with that for this year. No problems at all. But yeah, we've got Atletico Madrid, as we said there. If we manage to beat them, we would then have to face Bayern Munich, which is not the easiest of ties. That's the quarterfinal. And if we did make it, luckily, through them as well, we would then have to play either Paris FC, Real Madrid, or Barcelona. Do we see it ending at the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, or could we potentially make it to the final against any other side? Lyon probably, but maybe Wolfsburg, Chelsea, Arsenal, Juve, or even Leuven if they have an absolute blast. What do you reckon? How far can we go in this competition realistically, especially if we do get these people in that people are talking about?
Do you want me to go? I think getting to the quarterfinals would be amazing. And I think that's kind of what I would expect right now with our squad depth. But we have got a transfer window coming up and we don't know what we're getting. We hope we're getting some good players. And I think every game is on luck. Someone's actually just put that, and a bit of luck. Anything can happen. And exactly, that's another good comment. I think anything can happen, and it would be amazing to beat Bayern and go probably against Barcelona. Wow. Probably against Barcelona. That would just be amazing, and it would be a real highlight of the year, I would say. But I think getting to the quarters would be amazing.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. I think the quarters have got to be the kind of aim at this stage. And I think if we get there, then absolutely phenomenal. I think with luck and football, no matter what people say, football sometimes is just down to a little bit of luck. And sometimes United benefit from that. Sometimes opposition benefit for that against United. And that is just kind of how it works. I do think that should the stars align, should we have the performance that I know we can do, I do believe that we could beat a Bayern Munich. I don't think it's impossible. I'd say the only team that I would be more concerned about as coming up against is more like Barcelona, Lyon again, or Chelsea. Realistically, they would be the more concerning. But I think on our day we could beat Bayern Munich. Don't get me wrong, that might require a little bit of luck. Maybe one of their players falls down a hole. I don't know. Maybe I kidnap some of their players. I don't know. This is where we do what they do in the men's game quite a lot, and we all go stand outside the Bayern Munich hotel and let off fireworks at 2 a.m. So I do think it is doable. But the quarters would be just absolutely phenomenal. And if you'd have said to me at the start of the season, like, you're going to get to the quarterfinals, I'd be like, oh my God, incredible. Like, yes, amazing. That would be, honestly, that would make my life if we could win the whole thing. And again, it's football, and it's cup football as well. Literally anything can happen. You only have to play a team twice, but you only have to do it kind of, there's a limited amount of times you can do it, basically. So with a little bit of luck on your side for each game, you can actually get really, really far. And we see it all the time in cup football. So yeah, of course, it is always possible. And at the end of the day, everyone loves an underdog story. And at the end of the day, we are kind of going into this really as underdogs. We've not got any real Champions League experience whatsoever. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And hopefully I can also go to Munich. I've not been to Munich before either. I've been to Berlin, but never Munich. So another great destination that I can tick off my list. So again, thanks UEFA for giving me these opportunities. And thanks United for actually playing well and meaning I can go.
Absolutely. They absolutely do. They 100% do, especially if your name is Manchester United. And I refer you back to Bayern Munich because that was a gosh darn miracle right there, because we were out of it and then before you knew it, we'd won it. So there you go. They absolutely do occur. I shall hear nothing of the sort on that one. And other people have said it. Brandon said we're going to win the whole thing, beat Atletico, batter Bayern and Barcelona, and then take revenge on Lyon in the final. Why not? Regarding the UWCL rules, I will never ask GPT. I'm quite capable of searching the internet myself. If you want to use ChatGPT, you crack on. Why? I just asked the questions. That's all I do. It's just a question that came to my mind, and I went for it. I would go with the same answer as you. Let's get past it. Let's go and see what happens. But I'd love it if we managed it. And this is a fair point as well. We do need much better attendances for our home game in the UWCL. If we're thinking of staging games at Old Trafford, some might argue if we stage the games at Old Trafford, we might get slightly bigger attendances. But you just never know. It's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario there. I've ended the player of the match poll, but I'll ask the pair of you now. Vic, who would you have given your player of the match award to?
I actually think it's really difficult because although I think Jess and Fallon were both amazing, and Fallon to me, she seemed off it the last few games, and she really seemed on it. So I'm going to be a bit different because I know who everyone else is going to vote for, and I'm going to go Fallon because she's one of my favourite players, and I thought she was amazing, and I don't think we would have won 1-0 without her. Because I really don't. And she just seemed to have that confidence back that she's had previously, apart from the last few games. So I'm going to go with Fallon. But Jess, big standout, because to just be thrown back into that position as well, where she hasn't been playing, she was phenomenal. And the goal was just tip-top. It was brilliant. Jess,
for you?
I think I'm going to go pretty basic into what everyone's probably going to expect, and I'm going to say Jess. I think she was mega. I think she pretty much controlled the whole game. Her passing was fantastic. Her finishing was quite obviously fantastic. And honestly, it's just amazing to see her in red, to be honest. I think she's absolutely smashed it since she's come along. So, yeah, it's probably I can't see the poll, but I'm assuming it's going to be Park that's kind of leading the way there. So, yeah, probably an obvious choice.
Absolutely that. Okay, right. Lots to be said. Listen, with Jay's returning, do you think she'll be integrated back inside? Do you think she'll be sold? We've spoken about this before, but I'll be gobsmacked if we ever see Jay's in a Manchester United shirt again. But there we go. As we just said, miracles do happen. The player of the match poll, as I said, has finished. And Fallon, your choice, Vic, finished fourth with 4% of the vote, but Connor will be happy because it means that everybody got a vote. Friedo finished third with 7%. DJ, last night a DJ saved my life, is on 13%, but it is, of course, Jess Park, who was the victor with 75%. That's 3/4 of you choosing her as the player of the match, and I think probably rightfully so. It's been a pleasure. I've genuinely enjoyed all of your company, but I don't really think there's a huge amount more to cover. Big thanks, Vic and Jess, for joining us this evening as we've gone back through all things Champions League. We've got a lot still to come. Not to mention the fact that Tuesday night, big day, 23rd of December. The 24th one they all talk about, when the jolly red-faced fat round man turns up and somehow miraculously gets down your chimney without getting stuck and eats all the cookies in the world. That man is a gannet, let's be fair. But before he comes in, it is the additional, the usual, the amazing, I hope, Christmas cracker. Lots of ideas coming and flowing. We've got most of the squad, when I say the squad, not the players, don't get too excited, but our squad ready to jump in. It should be absolutely fantastic. As ever, it's a good chance for fun, frivolity, and a chance to look back over some of the joyful moments of the season as well. I'm sure that Connor will have an end of year one to look forward to as well. But big one there, Tuesday night. Get it in your calendars. And if you haven't got a calendar yet, don't bother buying one because the year's almost over. Get one for next year and write it in for there. All right. So good stuff. It's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed having you. Thank you for putting up with me and what has now been the runniest nose in the history of the world. I'm going to go and blow it for about the 9 minutes time. Big thanks, like I say, to all of you for watching, for everybody getting involved, whether you agreed with our opinion or you didn't. Brilliant to have you here. That's what the channel's here for. And hopefully we'll see you all on the Christmas cracker. Good night, all.